just wrote a quote and I wrote the text. Because when I sat down to write the notes for this piece, how could I combine this piece onto just a piece of paper and talk about it? It's like asking a parent, tell me in two paragraphs why you love your child. It's unconditional love. This piece is, granted, I know this piece better than the other two, so I didn't just think this piece like the back of my hand. But this piece, that's why it avoids categorization. It's not an opera. A work like this could not fit in a symphony, could not fit in a ballet, could not fit in an opera. It's not a song cycle. On the night it premiered, October 5th, 1938, the famous Russian composer Rachmaninoff, who I mentioned earlier about virtuosi, he played the first half of the concert. He played his famous second piano concerto that is still famous to this day. And he went to go sit for the second half for the concert to see this piece premiered. And if you go to Google Images and you look up Rachmaninoff, you'll find about 22 pictures of him, a little more, I counted. And none of them, he is smiling. He was a very stoic man. His music's very classy, very passionate. He was truly a romantic in the pure sense. Not so much a Russian nationalist the way Prokofiev was. But he was very stoic, very stern-faced, and there's reports he said he was openly weeping when he heard Vaughan Williams' Serenade, crying for the whole piece, and on the way out, he loved it so much. And I watched a documentary of Rachmaninoff, an awesome documentary that he's in a few times. Some of this is 1920, so it's a slow, real video. And I talk about this with my piano teacher in Montclair. For a split second, you can see him smile. He does this. Let's go. He paused it, because the whole time he's just like this. He's this stoic man who grew up in the cold of Russia, and he was brought to tears by this piece. And it's not like a fellow Russian, not like, oh, this Russian nationalist music, oh, it's so powerful, the German sound. It's a Brit setting Shakespeare, this text that's so soft. A man who always would usually set Walt Whitman, who he loved. He loves this socially charged, politically charged, reactionary poetry of Walt Whitman, the pacifist, who was an American. And Shakespeare, everyone said Shakespeare, from Europeans, Asians, American, but for Vaughan Williams' particular connection, besides being so set, this is one of the most important settings of Shakespeare's text in any medium, art, play, poetry, movies that are based off of, Shakespeare plays. This setting is most important because of how well it's done, but it's hard to not note that the connection, both being finally setting British, like I said, Vaughan Williams, the only piece that's comparable to Toward the Unknown Region, a single choral work by Vaughan Williams, but he sets Whitman's text in that. He loved Whitman as an American. Whitman is an American, but Vaughan Williams and Shakespeare are both British, and Shakespeare born in Stratford-upon-Avon, and it's a little over 300 years later, not too far in mainland England, is Down Anthony, where Vaughan Williams was born. So he understands this text in a way, understands the words. 1938 is just at that time and England and Vaughan Williams being so important, codifying such an English sound. Vaughan Williams, for those of you that don't know, is important, he's known as the man who kind of brought back English identity, because since Henry Purcell, an early Baroque composer, the 1600s, after that, England didn't really have an identity. It was all a bunch of British composers trying to mimic the dominant German style at the time, which was understandable. I mean, Germany dominated music, and then Italian had opera and song and lieder. French eventually worked their way out, but England didn't really have much until Vaughan Williams came along. But it's important to know that Vaughan Williams wasn't studied with Ravel. Max Bruch first, and he did not follow that German, in a sense, some ways, but did his own thumbprint. He loved Ravel as an impressionist influence in his music. But that last line, and you say the line "such harmony," and he goes, the piece is typical Vaughan Williams style, but having beautiful harmonies throughout. And there's a solo violin. Vaughan Williams was a violinist, so he uses the solo violin in almost all of his pieces. And he uses sounds like this. These are called direct chords, immediate relationship chords. They look up. It's not flat like I was saying earlier. These are chords that are bright. They look up. Such harmony is in immortal souls. And the ending, soft stillness. Soft stillness. And the night become the touches of sweet harmony. And this you know, an art song or a poem would say, you know, and the sun rose, 'twas a beautiful day, the end of it, or a Schubert art song, or nothing with Schubert, fantastic song cycle composer, but writing about the last line being about love, or finishing with a happy ending, or two lovers. But for once, it's ending with about harmony, talking about music. I can only think about, you know, a man who was a mentor of mine who had an infinite amount of wisdom, who to this day, after going through 2 schools, a terminal degree in music and all the things I've gone through musically, his knowledge and things he said to me has always ring true, more than what any of my teachers have taught me. Every time I hear something or I'm about to prepare for something, he always had something about it that I just remember. And I just remember he had a way of talking. He was a lecturer for the New York Garden State Philharmonic for a while. Raymond Wojcik, a mentor and teacher of mine, he said about this piece, we were talking about it once, he said, don't you just want to live inside this piece? Don't you just want to open the door, walk in, and just sit there and live inside of it? And that's exactly, right, that's exactly it. That's what Vaughan Williams is trying to do. That's why he has these 16 voices, the soloist, the solo violin, ending on the highest note, while everyone else is on the lowest note, because it creates this environment of the orb, of this music, of the spheres. It's first up. It's fresh in your head. Usually I would have gone in the order of the concert, but this piece is first, so it's good because this will be fresh in your mind when we go out there to listen. The Morristown, they did it last night in Morristown. It's great acoustic in there, so it's about 14 minutes, and it's fantastic. So and after that, the Paganini intermission, and then the symphony. These are recorded. This is the second time I'm recording these. Thank you to Ed for taking pictures and setting up the camera. I also am doing, thank you to my brother for setting up a Facebook Live. Facebook Live tends to have some problems, but it records everything that's set up. I'm doing trying to do much more things with social media this year at the Symphony. Putting things online more, kind of what my goal is just the social media guy for classical music, trying to get everyone to disseminate all this stuff with everything as far as hashtags and just being able to view. I definitely want to share this and build up a thing that you can go to on the website for resources, for more questions, for more research about, I want to read about what Mike was saying about this piece, and then you can do more talking about symphonies, because we're a symphony orchestra, why symphony's always done, how important the symphony is, how not important the symphony was when most symphonies were written in the early 19th century. They were always pieces to have fun with, and then you kind of get them over with, and then focus on something more important. But yes, you can always check back online. Come talk to me if any questions. You go to the Facebook page, it's my contact is there. You'll see when they share a photo, it's there. So yes, feel free to reach out or message or email. Thank you all so much for coming. You're gonna enjoy this concert. It's a very unique season opener. I was very proud of the music they picked. Enjoy. See you there. We've got some